So in this chapter, we're going to have a look at the equipment and tools that a reportage wedding photographer requires to get some great results. Now for me, I'm not a massive gear snob, but there are certain things that I need in order to be able to get professional and high quality images. So I have a high-end DSLR. I work with a Canon 5D Mark II, and I have a set of lenses. So I have a kind of kit lens, almost an L series lens that operates as a zoom. So that kind of covers a lot of different scenarios for me. But I also carry around 3 different prime lenses. So a 28mm, a 50mm, and 85mm. Now that gives me options, especially when I'm kind of doing portraits or detail shots, to try and capture things in quite a kind of creative and artistic way. And actually I really do enjoy having the limitation of a prime lens. There's less things to think about, especially considering kind of the zoom, and actually sometimes you have got the flexibility to kind of be on your feet and moving around and using that prime to your advantage. There are occasions, however, when actually a zoom lens can be really helpful, because maybe you're kind of stuck at the back of the room and you don't want to be walking around and disturbing things. And having a telephoto lens, for example, might be really handy. The other things that I carry around in my bag, you need spare batteries and a charger for those batteries as well. You're shooting all day, and you may well need to kind of have a couple of batteries just on charge, just so that you've got an option in your pocket, just because you never quite know when it might run out. And similarly with memory cards, I have a couple of really large memory cards, a 32 gig, a few of those that you can, again, have one in the camera and one in your pocket. And just a top tip on there, I have my camera set so that I can't take any photographs unless there's a memory card in the camera. I have had stories of photographers who shot a whole wedding without a memory card in the camera, and I can't imagine anything much worse. I also carry around with me a flash gun. I don't use extensive lighting setups, especially as a reportage wedding photographer. You don't want to be having kind of big lights and everything around. But actually a flash gun can be really helpful, especially as you get into the evening and thinking about shooting indoors. But we'll come more onto using the flash later on. And I have all these things, so my camera and the lenses, the flash gun, batteries, chargers, all in my camera bag, which I can carry on my back. I don't want to be lugging around loads of different bags. I need to be portable with my gear, especially if I'm on my own, if I haven't got a second shooter or an assistant. So make sure you get yourself a sturdy camera bag that's going to keep your gear safe when you're chucking it in and out of the car, and something that's waterproof as well, just because you never know if you're kind of out on a shoot, you don't want to be getting your gear wet. The other thing that I would highly recommend you having is a second camera. Now I have a Fuji X100S on me at all times, just in case my 5D decides to have a little glitch or a little wobble, which it does every now and then. And then I'm safe in the knowledge that I've got another camera in my bag, so that if all else fails, I've got a backup option. Now maybe you've kind of got your first DSLR that you've kept hold of, or maybe you can afford to spend a couple of £100 on having a kind of entry-level DSLR just as a backup, just in case that you can fit your kind of professional lenses onto. So that's something to consider. You know, you won't take as high quality images with that, but you don't want to be stuck at a wedding without a camera. The other thing that I ensure that I have is a tripod. Now this isn't essential, but for things like the group photography, I want to be able to just kind of leave my camera in position so that I know the structure and composition of all those images is exactly the same. Now this frees up my hands to be kind of directing people within the group and looking around and checking my lists as well to make sure I've got all the right people in those groups. So having a tripod, even for that 20 minutes in the middle of the day, can be really helpful. The final thing that you may want to consider taking with you for your wedding shoot is actually an assistant or a second shooter. Now it may well be that as the main photographer, most of your time is taken up taking all the formal shots, and you've got to be in lots of different places at lots of different times. And actually you miss out on taking all those reportage photos that really kind of build the picture of the day. And that's when an assistant or a second shooter can come in really handy. They can kind of take that burden off you and really help build that story. So for example, my assistant Eric is here helping me out filming this, and to be honest, I couldn't really do it without him. You know, so having that extra pair of hands can be really handy, especially in terms of thinking about you know, having memory cards and batteries charged, and you know, a flash available when you need it. Thinking about the kind of list of people who are in the group shots, you know, and really kind of helping you get through that day kind of stress-free. So it's well worth considering. But also there may be some of you out there who've you know, you're not quite yet ready to take the leap to be a kind of professional wedding photographer, but maybe being assistant or a second shooter for somebody else is a good option to gain some experience. So, you know, it might be worth thinking about building together a little bit of a portfolio of your images, and then pitching that out to professional wedding photographers in the area who might be able to kind of take you on a shoot, just to gain that experience and for you to see what it's like and understand how shooting a wedding really works.